Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today's weekly live, I'm going to share the product of the month, Begonia Belle. It's been out now. We're on the 24th day of this month. It's been around a number of days. You've got about a week, as long as it's still in stock, to catch this with a $75 purchase before shipping and tax. So I'm going to go ahead and flip things over. Let's see if we can't get things working. We tried a minute ago and wasn't working so well. I'm going to scoot this over just a touch, just so you can grab. If you haven't, if you don't have a demonstrator, you can order anytime on my website, justalittleink.stampinup.net. And I'm going to say something for my YouTube subscribers. If you're, I'm thanking you for subscribing. If you are a subscriber, please like, share, and comment. I love to hear what you have to say. And if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would so appreciate if you would click that bell and get updates for when I have new videos. And I'm going to get right into it. It's a fairly simple card using the Begonia Belle. It's of course, all of our stamp sets are photopolymer. And this is a two-step stamp. So let me get something that's a little darker. You may be able to see the stamps here. I've got some of them on blocks already. But it's a two-step to create that beautiful begonia, and then the coordinating buds, some background, and greetings, as well as the leaves. And so beautiful set, fun to play with. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get busy. You are going to want some scratch paper, could be our grid paper. That works actually really quite well. And you want a half a sheet of cardstock. I'm going to use Cantaloupe Crisp. It's one of our brand new in colors. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4, and I've already scored. I've already cut, of course. I use my bone folder to get a nice crisp fold, and we're going to be using a landscape view. And so the other product I'm wanting is I've got a piece of our Country Woods Designer Series paper. Country Woods, I'm going to turn it this direction. It has been around a little while. It is on low inventory, but I checked just a few minutes ago and products there is still availability, but just so you're aware, and I really like this really washed out wood look. You could stamp your flowers in and your leaves and everything here. It's just an easier way to get the layers that I'm looking for by doing some fussy cutting. So if you're not a fussy cut fan, you know, try it out. I just find it really makes a big difference. So I'm going to set this aside. I actually don't need to do that. I've got some scrap paper, some scrap basic white. My names are not just coming to me so well right now. Okay, I'm going to grab the detailed of the two. We're going to go ahead and just pull that cover piece off. I'm going to do the detailed one first. So let me know in the comments, are you somebody when you do two-step stamping, and maybe the question is, do you use two-step stamping? Do you use the detailed section first, or do you do the more solid image first? So I'm going to be using some Cantaloupe Crisp ink. These are our brand new magnetic ink pads. They are felt based, so felt topped. So I'm going to come across, it's got just a couple little things. I like to kind of walk it across, kind of smoosh it a little bit. And then because this is my darker of the two that I want, I'm going to turn my image, my paper around just a little bit. I'm going to, well, as long as I line up, it's fine. I'm going to stamp that one down. Okay. So I've got a nice dark image, and I'm just going to be using some baby wipes just to keep my stamps clean. We have we have our chamois that you could be using. That's another option. I'm going to grab another block, and it's probably sitting right in front of me. Yes, I'm going to grab then that more solid image. And for the solid image, again, I'm going to kind of smush it around, walk it around my stamp pad. And I'm going to stamp it off once to get some of that ink off. You could use a lighter ink pad, so using our Barely Blush would work really well. But then I'm going to line up, and this is where it helps to kind of know where those images line up into here. Okay, and I'm going to stamp it down in the center. Sometimes I tend to use it in the other method, so I will do this section first and then do the dark on top. So you'll have to let me know kind of what you think with regards to that. And then I want to go ahead, we'll clean this one up. Get it cleaned and gone out, and I'm going to grab my Peaceful Pine, which is also in color from this year, so in our new magnetic felt topped pads. And I've got the leaf, the single leaf, and I'm going to stamp this one off once, and it's got some stems on it. Okay, clean that up. And then while I have my ink pad out, I was going to grab something and I didn't do it, so we'll just grab them. There's these little buds, and I'm going to ink those again in, and I'm going to put them in the darker of the two options. And then they sit on top of the stems. I'm going to get my head in the way just a little bit, like so. So that's the two-step stamping. And then I've got some leaves that I want to talk through a little bit. So I'm going to put this pad away. And we're going to grab the two leaves. And I think, which one's more detailed? Sometimes that's more fun to figure out, isn't it? Is it that one? I think it is. Sometimes. So we're going to come across. I think this is the more detailed of the leaves. So I'm going to stamp full strength. And then we'll clean that one up. And then I'm going to come in with my less detailed, at least that's what I'm thinking this is. Stamp off once, and then I'm going to line it up into, because it's going to go over it again, like so. And then I get a beautiful leaf image. And so I'll kind of step through a little. I'm going to put this away for the moment. Step this away. And I'm going to grab my detailed scissors and share kind of how I fussy cut. And so you're going to open and close your scissors, and I leave at least 1/8 of an inch, sometimes closer to 1/16 of an inch of a white edge, or whatever color my cardstock was that I stamped onto. And then I'm going to move with my left hand, which is my not dominant hand, my paper, which helps me keep a little better control versus opening and closing and moving my scissors, which is a natural thing normally to do. And so just kind of be moving your left hand around, or if you are left-handed, it would be your right hand. And I'm going to just come around. We'll only do this particular fussy cut because I have some already done. And we'll come over this way and see how everyone's summer is coming. Are you sweltering? Are you swimming in water? It's a little warmer here in Prescott Valley today. We've been much cooler, which has been wonderful, although we've also had quite a little bit of rain. And in some places, a little bit of flash flooding. Nothing like in other parts of the country, however. So I would do the same thing with these other images. I'm just going to set that aside because we don't need that at the moment. Put my scissors away. And so we've got this here. So what I want to do is then step through how I want to lay out on my Country Woods paper. So I want everything kind of spread along this lower section. And so I've got, I told you already, I had cut out already some leaves. And I've already stamped and cut out my little buds. And so, let's see, I kind of like this one. Do these. That one's a little blurry, so we're going to go here. So, all right. So what I want to do is I want to grab my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive. Doesn't need much. And if it dried a little bit in between, like you could apply it and come back in, that is something you certainly are capable and able to do. I'm going to tip my flower just a little ways, and I want to come in just a bit. And I want to line this up underneath. I want to kind of have a little more space here. And multi-purpose liquid glue gives you a little bit of wiggle. So I'm going to line that there, and I'm not attaching this yet. Then I want to attach a little more multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm going to have to get up in a minute. Oh boy. Okay. So then I want to layer a second leaf on top of, but tipped in the opposite direction so that they are leaning this direction. And then I want to put this leaf over on this side. So I'm going to do the same thing. Last week it was a fun fold, and I think next week will be a fun fold. I've got something in the works, but didn't quite have it ready, so we won't be sharing it today, but hopefully this next week. It's like so, and then I want to put a little adhesive on the back, and I'm going to pop this up and into this area to kind of fill. I want to come up a little more, so I'm going to put a little adhesive, and the lighter touch you have, especially with a new bottle, which this is a brand new bottle of multi-purpose liquid glue. And so it's pretty easy to squeeze too much. Okay, so at this point, and this I stamped full strength. I'm going to see if I want to tip this way a little. Kind of come up and angled like so. And then I think for this one, I'm going to go ahead and attach this with multi-purpose, or not multi-purpose, with Stampin' Dimensionals. And let's see, let's do minis. Gives me a little bit more ability to space them out, though I don't know you need to. And I'm going to stick one right in the middle. There we go. All right. And the fun part's normally picking it all the little backers up. Do you find them everywhere? Okay, like so. Okay, and then figure out my angle again. So at this point, I'm going to make sure I'm tipped the right way. Get grabbed up. Oh, somewhere. Like so, maybe? More like so. There we go. Now we need a greeting, and I want to put something along here. So which greeting should we use? And the other thing we could do, which could be kind of fun. Do we put more detail onto here? What do you think? Maybe? Let's do this, because I think that could be kind of fun. Just come in with just a little bit more of that cantaloupe crisp. So I'm going to come in. There's these running dots, and I don't want them everywhere, and I don't want to go too far, but I want to put just a little. into this section. And then I think I might, just to kind of, let's put this underneath. I think I want to do just a little of them on this side, just to kind of continue that look. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to make sure I stay straight, like so. Just a little interest, it doesn't show too much. And then, I'll put this away, I'm going to grab out that Peaceful Pine. And I think we'll use this You Are My Sunshine again. And I'm going to stamp it directly on my directly onto my designer series paper. I'm going to stick it here. That nice green will pop really well. Okay, let's put this away so we don't drag something into it. Okay, so here I have my basic card, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it directly here. You could use our Stampin' seal, but I find just a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue helps hold it and gives me just a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to line it up here and get it positioned before I lay it all the way down. Like so. So what do you think? It needs some gems, I think, which I need to go grab. So we're going to grab some gems. But I had an idea, because I had done one ahead of time in Daffodil Delight and Old Olive. And I thought how fun it would be. I've seen some samples from Stampin' Up's artisan gals that I think I want to cut out this center one from one I've already stamped. And again, this was stamped full ink and then stamped off once. And so I'm going to come in, I want to grab just this section in the middle here. I'm going to cut around. I think sometimes it's a little more fun to figure out where that went, but I'm going to come here. Either way, it's the same stamp as what's below it, so I'm going to come around here, and I might come this way. Something like that. And then I'm going to grab my bone folder to give me just a little bit of dimension. We'll see what you think about this. I don't know. And then I'm going to grab those dimensionals again. I'm going to stick some right in the middle to pop that portion out more. And then, we'll see here. Then I want to put a little bit of adhesive along the outside section because I want that to lay flatter. So let's see how this lines up. So I know I've got this section here and this section here that line up. So let me see if I can get my camera to come a little closer. Doesn't want to move, it doesn't look like so. I'm going to come here and line that on top. And then I'm going to press so that I get just a little bit of dimension on the front of my card, and it feels a little more lifelike. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go just to the demonstration. Give me a minute while I go grab some gems. Pardon the squeaks of the chair. All righty, come back into here. So what do you think? I think on this one, these are the dewdrop embellishments. All of these gems are not available, and they're showing available maybe starting Monday. And so that is the hope that those will be in on Monday. But I think I want to put some of these green ones. Let's see. Let's put one here. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. One there. Grab here. And then I like at least 3s. And so you think here, or do we want to think? I think over here. Let's come closer to. So something like that on this one. And you could choose to stamp and cut around that. We can play with that and see what you think. And then, I don't know, trying to decide between my butterflies, which I've yet to use, or the in color, or these in color dots. And I think, kind of like the idea of using the in color dots. And so, let me see, did I open these? Yes, I did. So, let's grab, with my take your pick tool, let's grab from the green. Let's do a butterfly here and do a couple of the little ones. Let's stick one kind of like that, and then let's do one more over here so that I get at least my 3s in there. I like that. I think those turned out really well. So let's play just a second, since I think we're doing okay time-wise. I have some basic white, which I think this is too stark, but let's try it anyway. And I'm going to open up my old olive. I'm going to tap, not being overly generous with my ink. And then I'm going to stamp it in. And let's see if we like this any better. Close my ink pad so we aren't making a mess everywhere. And then I have my paper trimmer, so we can just trim that down. And should have something that is fairly consistent. So what do you think? Do you like this where it's directly on and blends in a little more because this is a darker section? Or do you like it where we have the greeting there? And I think, honestly, I think I like this better. So I am going to then pop this up with just a couple mini dimensionals, since that's what's right here. Let's grab those. Like so. And just kind of share how quickly you can put a card together with just stamps and ink, really not using die cuts and all the fancy stuff that we've gotten so used to having at our ready. So let me make sure I'm straight. And I like that. So which one is your favorite? Do you like the more detailed and popped up? Do you like a really simple basic? I like them both, and I hope that you'll join me again next Friday. Again, thanks again for liking and subscribing. If you're not a follower on my Facebook page, I'd appreciate that as well. So have a wonderful rest of your day and a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Happy stamping.